Caitlin Clark is ready for that break. That's for sure. Is what she said after the All-Star game.
Well, I honestly can't wait to not touch a basketball for a while. Oh my god, I think I've shot too many times in the past year.
And you remember Caitlin Clark is just over 3 months from playing in the college national championship with Iowa. It hasn't been that long. But not only has she earned that break, she has earned her WNBA respect, right? Because when you look at the All-Star game and all the pomp and circumstance surrounding it, Caitlin, there is no more of that noise about her having to prove herself. She's finally past having to prove herself. She wasn't the only player that shined. Enrique Gumbawale obviously was the MVP. Angel Reese had a big weekend. Alicia Gray wins the skills and the three-point shootout. Like, a lot of women shined over the weekend. But Caitlin Clark is the biggest star, the center of attention, and that's no longer coming with scrutiny because she proved that it's her playing ability that's always led to her popularity. And any teammate has to keep their head on a swivel because the ball might come their way when she's got it, given how gifted she is as a point guard. And you saw that sort of love and mutual admiration on display in this one. I mean, look at her commanding this huddle right here. Remember, this is indeed a first-year player. She's there with the vets. She's telling them what to do. She's instructing them on how to go out there and get things done. A floor general as just a young player in her first season in the league. And we've all seen why that is the case, right? Like, we've all seen why Caitlin has that respect, and you cannot deny it. The passing ability, the ability to dime up is just something that can't be taught. It's special. It's special out there, and you see it on the floor consistently. I mean, this pass to Aaliyah Boston from the game, obviously her teammate, Aaliyah Boston, but you see the reaction from Jonquel Jones of the New York Liberty immediately afterwards, who's like, yo, that was nasty. Because anybody who watches basketball can understand the Jonquel reaction isn't there, but she did have that reaction. Anybody who watches basketball has that understanding and knows, like, that ain't normal. That's different, what she's able to do. And there was even the pass to Angel Reese. I know it's going to get shown and blown up, but it did feel nice to see. It did feel nice to see, given all of the ways they've been pitted together against each other, and then they're playing together here. And we knew they were going to play together, but this is what Caitlin does. She draws the attention. Reese does a nice job running the floor. Look, hesitation, gets Griner over, and Reese finishes. And then they dapped up afterwards. The world is healed. We saw them dap up. And I think that could be, I'm joking around a little bit, but I do think it's significant that happened in the midst of Asia Wilson sitting next to Caitlin Clark. Enrique Ogunbowale and Clark sharing that mutual love and respect. Clark had said that Enrique was the best one-on-one player in the league, and Enrique returned that favor with her own compliment, saying, I appreciate that. I love her game too. So that's what's up. So you get another compliment from a WNBA player, a peer. Ogunbowale was obviously awesome in that game, lighting it up. 34 points in just the second half of action, which is pretty incredible. Caitlin setting the rookie assist record for an All-Star game. Angel setting the rookie rebounding record for an All-Star game. And obviously also, you could just see the smiles on Caitlin's face, at the All-Star game in various parts of it. I mean, look at they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? I don't know how many thousands of words were written about Caitlin going into her WNBA campaign and her rookie season. Thousands and thousands, I'd imagine. And some of them weren't so nice at the beginning. A lot of this became a whole other thing. It wound up being about things beyond basketball. And it was weird for a minute there. It was hijacked for a minute there, where race was discussed and not earning her place was discussed and her fan base was discussed and so on and so forth. So many different things. The fouls, you almost forget. Like, it feels like a lifetime ago when Kennedy Carter hip checked Caitlin Clark. Feels like a lifetime ago. When Angel Reese had the flagrant foul against Caitlin Clark, that was within the realms of a typical basketball. It was certainly a flagrant, but within the realms of a typical basketball play. And that was, what people wanted to talk about. And I think at that point, people started to realize it was a little bit phony. But there was also not making the Olympic team, and after that, and that reared its head a little bit, in the All-Star game, because the WNBA squad, quite frankly, looked better than the Olympic team, particularly at the guard positions. I think Clark and Agubawale and Gray and Mitchell, obviously cooked them up. And then, in the front court, it was Nneka Agumake and Angel Reese. But all that noise, all that hysteria, all that seems to have subsided because Caitlin's out there breaking records, right? I mean, generating more points than any player in the W, setting the single game assist record this season as well, like over and over again. And eventually, people can argue about whether she's selected player of the week or player of the month, or if the league hated on her. And there was Tarazi and the, reality is coming comments, which they wound up embracing. They embraced again at the WNBA All-Star game. But it felt like Caitlin was embraced as a whole during that weekend in Phoenix. That any of the other stuff was in the rear view. And she's going to have some time off. I mean, we don't know, I don't know how I'm going to cover everything and what we're going to do with it. And she deserves it though. And the Olympic team will play, but they do lose a little juice not having some of those players on the team, if we're being real about it, right? Like some of those players, obviously Caitlin, but I mean, I would say Angel and Enrique as well after that contest, they would have brought some buzz and some excitement, and they certainly will in the future because the WNBA is in very good hands going forward. Very good hands going forward. But it felt like a lot because it was a 24/7 news cycle, because of social media, because, Caitlin, you must comment on this. What do you say about the fans doing, all that stuff? It felt like a lot, but it really hasn't been that long. I mean, Caitlin was playing in the national championship game in April. It's just July, just over 3 months. She's getting this break now. And after the All-Star break, she'll return with the same amount of attention, but much less scrutiny because she's earned that respect amongst her peers. She commanded that respect amongst her peers. And it's a nice story, right? Like, because everything has been on this upward trajectory, and I'm just glad to see that nobody's fighting against the wave anymore, if you will.